Hi everyone, welcome to the seventh episode of Global Teacher Insight. This is Asta, your host, and today we have with us Priyanshi, our guest, and an IB teacher. So I want Priyanshi herself to introduce to all of you watching us. So over to you, Priyanshi.
Okay. Hello. So my name is Priyanshi Tyagi and I am IVDB and IGCSE Computer Science Facilitator. I have like 5+ years of teaching IBDB. Before that, I was former data scientist in Nagaru, and this is how when I was teaching, working in Nagaru, then I started teaching as a passion of freelancing, and I was so much passionate about teaching that I completely switched from tech to education.
That's amazing. So good to know that, to be honest, because usually people don't switch to teaching, rather, they switch to other corporate jobs or something from teaching.
From
So
teaching.
that's
Yeah.
good to know. So, Priyanshi, I have a quick question. Since you were a data scientist earlier, right? And now
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
teaching in online school, correct? So,
Hmm.
how this transition happened? Did you struggle with anything to transit from that position to this?
No, I will say that when I was working in tech, I was able to connect the problems. Like if you will talk about IBDB, IBDB is that curriculum where you have to connect to the real world. Whatever knowledge you are imparting to the students, that should connect to the real world. So it was like an easy transition because, yeah, whatever I am giving to my students, whatever knowledge I am giving to my students, or whatever programs we are working on computational thinking, that I've already done in tech. So I am always thankful to that experience, that I'm able to make an interactive and inquiry based learning in my classroom.
That is amazing. But Priyanshi, I have this question again because I have seen, I mean, I have read that to become an IB school teacher, you need to have B.Ed degree. Is it mandatory?
No, I'm just BTech in computer science, so it is not mandatory. IB is not very much strict about your qualifications. IB has just some few easy criterias. If you can make your classroom an inquiry-based classroom, if you're good with your content, then definitely there is no qualification required as such.
All right. I'm so happy to know that, Priyanshi, because recently I created a video wherein I have mentioned that this is something which is mandatory for the teacher. So I think it
Hmm.
will be very helpful for the teachers who have not done B.Ed and want to
Yes.
get into IB teaching, that is school IB teaching.
Actually, I also thought it in the starting that BA is mandatory, but no, it is not. When I get into this curriculum, I got to know that it's not.
Yeah, amazing. I'm so happy to know that this is a new information for me as well. All right. So, Priyanshi, let me talk about the questions because this is one of the very big pain point teachers have. That I have heard about IB schools, but I have
Hmm.
no idea how to become an IB teacher. So our entire podcast is going to be on that. So this is a very good podcast for viewers who actually want to get into IB curriculum. Okay. So with this, let's get started with the questions. Priyanshi, here comes our first question. Every teacher has heard the term IB, but very few actually understand it. How would you explain the IB curriculum to a teacher who is hearing about it for the first time?
Okay. So firstly, you should know about the programs which IB do run. So it has four programs: PYP, that is primary year program, then MYP, that is middle year program, then DP, diploma program, which I am taking right now, and then it is your CP, that is career related program, which most of them don't know. Firstly, you should know about it, and then you should assess yourself. Okay, this is the age group which I want to teach. That I was very much sure that I want to go for diploma program DP students, so I went for that. Apart from that, IB is not like a syllabus or a curriculum. IB is more about philosophy of education. Like it has some criteria that this is how your classroom should be. So you should know about it. You should know about inquiry based learning. You should know about international mindedness. Whatever content you have, are you able to connect it locally and globally? That is very much important in IB. Apart from that, you should be open minded to know your own perspective and to like open to the culture and the perspective of others. Apart from that, like one thing which I would like to add on is TOK. You should definitely go through it because that is, like, I will say, the thing which is like most misunderstood, and it is important for every facilitator to include it into their lesson. So yeah, you should know about TOK apart from your subject knowledge.
Amazing. And Priyanshu, you've also heard about the CAS as well and EES, right?
Yes.
These also very important, just like TOK.
Yes. So CAS is your creativity activity service. So it is what there is a number of hours, that is 150 hours for every learner, which a learner should give to CAS. So how do I, like, if I am going to take my subject computer science, if a learner know about programming, I will ask them to make something for the NGOs, like whatever software can help them out. So this is how we do CAS. It is basically making the learners caring, loving. So that is your CAS. Apart from that, is something which the learner will be writing 4,000 words, and it is not just writing, it is analyzing, evaluating on any topic which they love. And the topic should not be very much broad, it should be a topic which they can define, which have a criteria, and they are going to define their methods. It is like making them a researcher for like the future world.
Okay, amazing. I think this will really help viewers understand because these are the three things. Most of them
Yes,
they are
exactly.
not aware that they exist, to be honest, who are transitioning from other curriculum to IB branch. So this will help. So thank you for this insight. Moving to the next question. Many teachers believe they need years of international experience to enter an IB school. Is
Hmm.
that really true, or are there other pathways to enter?
Okay, no. So this is a myth, I will say. When I went for my first job, I was very much afraid. I was like, okay, I should know all the assessment criteria, I should know everything, but that is not required to
Okay.
enter this. Facilitators, like, they do assess the facilitator's mindset. They do
Okay.
assess that are you able to give the platform to the students to take their own ownership of learning, because it is not something like, okay, traditional method of learning. It is like student centric learning, so students should be continuous learners. So firstly that. Secondly, they do assess that are you going to take inquiry based learning. Inquiry based learning is very much important in IB. And apart from that, if you are able to give up that attitude, okay, teacher is the sole authority of the class, then definitely you can go for IP. Plus, I will say that differentiation is very much important, because you're not taking a whole group of 40 students or 50 students. It is very much personalized in IB. So you should know that every students have their own pace of learning, their own method of learning. So it should be very one-on-one connection in IB. So that is important.
Okay, so then in that case, you're saying that years of experience doesn't matter, but there must
Yes,
be some
exactly.
eligibility criteria, Priyanshi, based on that.
Exactly.
Okay, so can
Yeah.
you what are those based on which they are filtering out the candidates?
Okay, so IB has some philosophy, which I will say 80 management, then researchers. We are making them researchers. So they should initiate a topic which can search field also. Then I will say that it should be inquiry based. It is not. It should not be like, okay, I'm providing the content. So whenever I'm teaching, like, let's take an example, for loop. I do not start with, okay, this is for loop. This is the definition. This is how you are implementing it. No. So firstly, I will start the class in a way. Okay, stand up and take 5 rounds. So what did you do? So building up the curiosity. This is how the content should be delivered. It should not be like I am talking 100% of time. It should be 50-50%. I'm talking and then the student is talking the other 50%. Yeah.
Okay, I think that will help viewers understand, how they can start IB for them as a career.
Exactly.
All right, now moving to the next question. As an IB educator, what's the biggest mindset shift teachers need to make when transitioning from traditional curricula like CBSE or ICSE to IB?
Okay, so I will say traditional curriculum, like national curriculum, is based on the content delivery. You should be very much good in your content and you're good to go. You should know the past year questions which are asked, and it is very much focused on your exam scores. But the thing is very much different in IB. IB want their learners to be very good in the 10 learners attribute, like caring, thinking, and good communicators. You should provide an ample opportunity to your students to be good communicators. You should provide them deep learning experience. So this is how IB is different. So IB is not about, okay, this is what I know. It is about, okay, whatever I know, how can I connect it to the real world? Why does this knowledge matter? Because student will ask, why am I learning this? Why does this matter? So you should know that how can you connect it to the real world. Secondly, it is not like, okay, it is not about, I'm doing this past year paper questions. If I will do this questions, then it will be very much good. No, IB can assess you on anything, on any point. So you should be like very much ready for it. It is about implementation. It is not about, okay, the content. They will mostly ask you the implementation type of things. That's how IB is. Apart from that, we have an IA, that is internal assessment. And internal assessment, if I talk about like computer science, it is basically implementing whatever you learn to help to solve a real world problem. So this is how IB is different from national curriculum.
So if the teacher is not shifting from a traditional rote memorization to the
Exactly.
yeah, then the teacher will struggle helping.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for this, Priyanshi. Moving to the next question. If a teacher wants to become an IB educator, what practical roadmap you would recommend? Where should they start? What should they learn? And how can they prepare? Now, one more thing here I want to add, Priyanshi. There is this official IB certification course that IB offers, right? Should they go for that before applying to an IB school, or should they let school sponsor that course for them?
Okay. So firstly, if you're going to start with an IB, I will always say that understand the IB philosophy. There is an IB guide and everything is mentioned into it, like in a very simplified way. If I like being a computer science facilitator, I need to go through the guide like a Bible. Like, okay, I solely know it firstly, and like going through that guide only, you will know about the approaches to learning, which I was talking about. So how the content delivery should be. Then coming to the question that getting certified, definitely it is a good thing that getting your certification in category A, category 1, category 2, or category 3. But no, it is not mandatory, but I will say that yes, it is required in a way, but sometimes you can skip it. And if you're a fresher, let school sponsor it. And if you can do it, then definitely it will be a good add-on to your resume. Then I will say that you should build some experiences in inquiry based learning before applying to an IB school. And then you should learn the assessment criterion. That is very much important. Like what is asked in paper 1, paper 2, and paper 3. Like they have the case studies also. So you should be very much versed with it. The components, the composition, that how much percentage is your IA, what percentage, what paper carries. So that is important. Apart from that, I have seen that in IB, networking is very much important. Like in data science, it was not that much important, to be very honest. Although in tech, it is also important, but networking is important. You should go to SIPSA. You should connect to the webinars. You should like connect to the educators. Just grab the opportunity. So what happens whenever I go to some other school, like my current school? So it happened, I met that lady in SIPSA before. So it is about connection. IB is very small world. So yes, networking is very much important.
These are very important things. Thanks for highlighting it, Priyanshi. Because I have seen teachers know when they apply for IB, They actually
Yes,
just apply for it. They are not doing
exactly.
research on inquiry-based learning or how the assessment criteria is happening. And then they will be like, why I'm not getting selected? Now,
Exactly.
to understand, IB is one of the, I feel, one of the toughest curriculum because I have seen almost all curriculum so far and I found it a little difficult one. And because
Mhm.
of the approach it has, to be honest, Priyanshu. It's not
Exactly.
like every other curriculum we have in the market. So a teacher, if they are not going through it before applying anywhere, be it offline or online, obviously they are not going to get selected.
Exactly. Because students are smarter right now. They know, okay, this is not required, this is required. So they will question you.
No,
Yeah,
I myself have taught IBDP physics. So I know, right? I mean, it was really a challenge for me because that was
exactly.
the first time teaching. So I completely understand. Now in math, there is this AAAI kind of
Yes.
SL, all these things. If the teacher is not aware how they are going to even guide their student because there is a
Exactly.
structure there. So
Exactly. So teachers should know that how many hours are required for SL, how many hours are required for HL. Apart from that, if you are going for an IA, so what is the band? How many criterion are there, and how should you assist the student? How should you help the student without telling them, okay, do this? But you cannot guide a student. You have to do exactly this, but you have to guide it in a way that okay, they learn it that this is not how it should be done. This is how it should be done. We cannot impose our ideas on our students. Yeah.
definitely. I have also heard in NYP 5 they have their external exam and
Yes,
then
exactly.
write a research paper also.
Research paper also. Yeah.
Wherein, as you just mentioned, teacher can't help directly, they can guide.
They can guide. Definitely. That's why we are called facilitators, not teachers.
Okay, that makes sense now. All right. So good to know that. All right, moving to the next question, uh, Priyanshi. So, you have taught across IB, IGCSE, I think AP, right? A
Yes.
levels as
Yeah.
well, almost all most of the curriculum. Okay, so what has working across multiple curriculum taught you about great teaching?
Okay. So I will say that if I talk about international curriculum teaching, like come not comparing it with the national curriculum. So international curriculum teaching, the principles of teaching are almost same. It is like the only difference is how the teacher is adopting it. I find IB very inquiry based and reflection based. So you should reflect whatever you have learned. And if you talk about A and AS level, it was rigorous for me. Like in computer science, it is rigorous because you have to go to the pseudo codes and everything. And if I talk about IGCSE, for a teacher who want to start with the international curriculum, definitely IGCSE is great because it is very much structured. So
Yeah.
the syllabus is very much structured. It will be easier for you to get to know. And I even started with IGCSE with an online edtech company. So it has definitely made me flexible. I can apply the rules of AP to my IB. So yes, that's what I have like learned through all the curriculums.
Actually, I have one more question. So I've seen many schools now, they have IGCSE till year 10 and then
Hmm.
IBDP. Like,
Yes.
why they have this kind of combination, not MYP and DP?
What I will say, it is about the structure only because they make you the exam oriented. If I will say, IBDP is definitely a good, very good curriculum, but IGCSE and AS level is like very much rigorous, exam oriented. So I would say it is like included to make students like very much disciplined for their exam. So yeah,
Yeah. Because I always had this confusion. I have seen many international schools, no, they have this combination of IGC.
combination of IGCSE in between. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it is very much structured. That's a reason.
Okay. All right. So I am now moving to the last question of our podcast. If a
Hmm.
teacher watching this podcast dreams of teaching in an international school
Mhm.
but feels underqualified or unsure, where to begin? What would you like to say to them? Your message for them, please.
Okay. So I always say this to myself like, see, I have heard this somewhere that teacher is something which is not by choice, by chance, but I was a teacher by choice, like facilitator by choice. So I will say that if you're feeling that, see, uh, preparing for something, it and then going for the interview, that will not help you. To be very honest, if I have seen like the educators and the facilitators who have 13 years of experience, and still they are confused somewhere. Okay, what is this? What is this? And how is this introduced? Because IB changes its syllabus right now. The entire syllabus for computer science, it is like changed. They have introduced machine learning, so you will never be like fully prepared for anything. If you know that you have these qualities, you can help the learners the way the IB is asking, so you should definitely apply. And we all are learning in IB. Like, I am also learning, I am also getting to know very new things, and there are many educators who are there to help you. There are many groups, there are many social media platforms who are there to help you. So yeah, we do discuss, we do connect together to discuss about the pointers. And I will say that just apply for it, just go through the guide for the subject you want to apply to, and everything will be sorted.
Makes sense. So I completely agree to his points, Priyanshi. Because I also feel that they have to start. If they are not starting and just
Yeah.
procrastinating, overthinking, that is also
Exactly.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
No, absolutely. So thank you so much for these insights, Priyanshi. Now we are moving to the last element of the podcast, which is your rapid fire. You don't
Okay.
get time to, think a lot. So,
Okay.
and let's get started, okay? All right. IB or IGCS?
IB.
Okay. Computer science or design technology?
Definitely computer science.
Project-based learning or traditional teaching?
Project-based learning.
Absolutely. Okay. Online teaching or classroom teaching?
Okay, so I will be biased to online teaching because that's how I started my career, but definitely classroom teaching is much better.
Okay, okay, great. Okay, one quality every IB teacher must have.
One quality every IB teacher must have. I will say that the teacher should be passionate firstly, and patience firstly, and curious. Like, he himself, like, we cannot say okay, IB makes the students continuous learner, but I have like learned many things which I was not knowing in my during my Nagaro era in IB. So it definitely makes us also continuous learner. So yeah.
That's great. Good to know that. Okay, this is a tricky question. One book every educator should read.
Okay, I will say guide right now. IB guide.
No, makes sense. Totally makes sense. Okay. One misconception about IB that you would like to break.
Okay, it is for Indian students and educators that IB is to apply to foreign universities only. That I have heard a lot of time that I want to do IB, but I don't. I want to stay in India, so it will not be beneficial for me. No, it is not like that. So yeah, IB is acceptable globally.
Yeah, that is true. Okay. I mean, this is something they will get to know now. Okay. All right. This is the last one. Complete this sentence. A future ready teacher is someone who.
Someone who is AI literate and who know the limitations of AI and to use it like a responsible citizen. Because I guess the coming era is of AI only, so we cannot be like, okay, I'm not computer science educator or I have no like knowledge of AI, so why should I learn it? You should know
No,
all the AI platforms. Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing this point as well, Priyanshi, because I think AI is not here to replace teacher, but
Exactly.
there
Help.
to and
Yeah.
reduce the clerical part of work. And
Yes,
trust
ma'am.
me, I'm trying to help as many as teacher possible to educate them on the tools. I don't know if you've heard about Chalky, Diffit. These are very good tools, Priyanshi.
Very good tools. Exactly.
You have heard about them.
Yes, ma'am. For presentation, I do use it. So yeah. Even teacher on, there are many websites which many AI platforms which are helping educators. So yeah, definitely it will reduce your time to make those worksheets, to make those presentations, and definitely it will help you. So yeah.
All right. So thank you so much for being there with me, Asmit. It was an amazing session, and I'm pretty sure anyone who wants to start their, journey in this IB curriculum, this is going to help all of the viewers, not only the present viewers. I am pretty sure a lot of people in future is also going to watch this episode. So thank you so much for being the part.
Thank you for making me the part of it.
It was my pleasure, Priyanka. All right, then. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. I don't know what time they will be watching us. And I'll see you then in the next episode.